Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chocolate Secrets YouTube channel. My name is Renee and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make my pumpkin pie. So first we're going to start off with the crust. We're making the crust from scratch, the pie from scratch. You're not going to need pumpkin puree. You're not going to need a little jar of pumpkin spice because we're making it all natural, baby. Starting off, we're going to do the crust. You're going to need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You'll need 1/3 cup of vegetable shortening. You'll need 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. So make sure not to mix those up. You'll need 8 tablespoons or 1.5 stick of sweet cream butter, unsalted, and 1/4 cup of vodka, and 4 to 5 tablespoons of ice cold water, as we have right here. Now, the vodka is optional. It just helps the crust to cook faster. The vodka evaporates quicker and you're gonna get a nice little crisp crust. If you're not really into that, you can definitely replace that with just regular water and everything will be fine. As for the pie, you're going to need cloves, nutmeg, cardamom, ginger, ground or fresh, whatever your preference is. You'll need 3 eggs, some brown sugar, some regular white sugar, definitely some vanilla, and of course a sweet pumpkin. So in the past, I actually used to use a carving pumpkin for the pie. I'll tell you, it still tastes good, but not as good as a sweet pumpkin. I'm telling you right now. So get the baby pumpkin. You can get it from basically anywhere. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna be starting off with the crust. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is cut up your butter. I recommend that you leave it in the wrap so that's easier to deal with. But what I like to do is cut along the lines of the teaspoon while it's still in the wrap, just so that you can make little indentions, just like these. And then you can take the wrap off and continue to cut the butter after the wrapper's off, because that's gonna help you divide everything up a little bit more evenly. So the first step is going to be mixing the flour, the vegetable shortening, half of the butter, and the sugar and salt. We'll add the rest in later. So like I said, we're gonna use the flour, the lard, and we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of butter for now. And add in the tablespoon of sugar and teaspoon of salt. This is actually probably the most fun part of this, making your own dough. And it's a little bit messy, so don't be discouraged if it goes all over the place. You want to make sure and feel through all of your dough and make sure there's no chunks of butter, no chunks of vegetable shortening in here. So mix that all together really well. And I like to kind of run it through my fingers like this. And honestly, making dough is not an exact science. So if a few pieces of flour get away from you every once in a while, it is totally fine. The pie is an exact science though, so don't mess that up. Okay, so I've kneaded this part completely. I'm checking through to make sure that I don't have any whole pieces of butter or vegetable shortening. And I'm good. This is cornmeal consistency right here. So now that you've gotten all of that together, you can add in your 8 tablespoons of chilled butter. So you can mix it a little bit first, and then you're gonna add in your chilled water and your vodka, or just your water if you're not into making pie crust with vodka. What you can do if you want to get fancy is you can make a little pit in the middle and pour your wet ingredients in there. and it'll be able to disperse through while you're getting your water together. Excuse my hands. Now, earlier in the video, I told you to use 4 to 5 tablespoons of cold water. That's because it depends on what your dough is looking like. Play it by ear. If you think you need a little bit more water, add a little bit more water. If not, keep on going. And again, if you're not comfortable kneading, you can definitely use a food processor if you've got one, or even just a typical mixer bowl. But I find the bread tastes a little bit sweeter when you put a little bit of elbow grease. So as you can see, my dough is looking a little dry, so I'm gonna add that extra tablespoon of chilled water. So the reason that we use chilled water instead of just regular room temperature is because we want to make sure to keep this chilled butter cold the entire time. And for this part, you can kind of do it how they do in the movies. Push it up together, knead it down with your hands, twist it around, push it up together, knead it with your hands. Make yourself feel fancy. This is how your dough should look at the end. So what we're gonna do now is wrap it in saran wrap, and then we're gonna let it chill in the fridge for about an hour. And it's ready for the fridge.